Welcome back. Today I'm going to use this huge rock to show you how to use some simple lines to create a really fun mountain scene. Here's a normal craft paint bottle just to give you an idea how large this rock is. So I'm going to start out with a chalk pencil and just create kind of a large oval using the shape of the stone, and then base coat that with some Liquitex gesso. I know this rock doesn't look it, but it is pretty smooth for the most part, but this gesso is going to help give a nice base so that the colors will be nice and bright and vibrant. Now I'm going to take a pink chalk pencil and just draw some horizontal lines across my gesso base coat, and this is where the stripes of color are going to go. It's a little bit light, so I just want to go over it a couple more times just to make sure I've got some good guides, and then it will blend right in with the colors. For this color scheme, I chose to go with blue, kind of a peachy orange, a teal, and a purple. And so I'm just going to start right in here and get the first stripe of blue. And this is an older one of my craft paints, so it's a little bit watered down, and you can see it's not giving the best coverage. So you adjust for your craft paints and you'll do as many coats as you need to get the color that you desire on these stripes. I've been toying with the idea of if I need to put something different under my stones when I'm painting them to film these videos that's a little more pleasing to the eye, because sometimes I splatter paint on these. It's basically like a puppy pad. It's got a nice cotton top and then it's got a plastic lining on the back, but I decided that I'm more concerned about being environmentally conscious and not wasting these, so I use them till they die. They're really handy. They have that plastic lining in case you have kids that paint. It really helps with messes, so I'll usually use them till they die, and then they become 5-year-old painting sheets and we really use them till they die. So you'll just have to deal with what they look like. I'm sorry, but it's real. It's not Hollywood. This last bit of purple is a little watered down too. It's going to take a couple extra coats to get this color where I want it, but that's okay. So now's the point where you add as many extra coats of color as you need to get those colors in a place where you like the way they look. So the two middle colors didn't take as much as the blue and the purple. I think I needed 3 coats on the blue and the purple. Now I'm going to take a broad-tipped Posca paint pen and I'm just going to make white lines in between each of the colors. So just a nice divider just to add a little bit of dimension to the shapes here. Now I'm going to come back to a chalk pencil, and it's a little bit harder to see at this point, but I'm making some triangular shapes to create the mountains. I'm also going to add another base coat of this liquid gesso for the mountains because we're going over those stripes of color. So I want it to be where the mountain color isn't going to have stripes showing through it. The only problem is I'm not happy with the way these mountains look. So I'm going to come back to the drawing board with the chalk pencil and add a little bit more triangle to the 2 outside peaks. This is going to result in most of the purple being covered up, but that's okay because I really would rather have the mountains in a better shape. So I'm just extending the mountains just a tiny bit here. I'm just a hot mess with this rock because I can't find my darker gray, so I'm going to take my light gray and add a few drops of black and mix that up to create a nice gray color for my 3 mountain peaks. I'm using an angled flat brush for these mountain peaks, which works really well because it allows me to get the point in to each of the point parts of the mountain and then kind of pull the paint where it needs to go. So it's a really handy one when you've got triangular or even square rectangle shapes. I really like this brush for this kind of work. And again, put as much paint as you need to get a nice opaque color. This one only needed some second coats in certain spots. You can see where it's kind of spotty, and you can see a little bit of the gesso showing through. So that's when I'm going to go ahead and add those extra coats to make sure our gray is nice and covered. Back to that Posca broad tip paint pen, and I'm going to add the same kind of white lines that we put on the stripes to the 3 mountain peaks. So this gives them a little bit more dimension, and you can see that these are really simple lines. It's just triangles up and down, stripes side to side, and some color. I am going to add one word. I'm going to write the word wander. So I'm going to work in a cursive kind of around the bottom curve of the stone, and there's a link in the description for a really nice hand lettering book if you are interested in practicing. I haven't done any in a while, so I feel a little bit rusty. And then after I get that on, I'm going to come down and thicken all of the lines on the letters that were in the downstroke where the pen was going down. I'm going to thicken the letters, and that gives it a nice little bit of dimension, kind of like if you were using a brush calligraphy pen. Raise your hand if you're surprised that this stone doesn't have any glitter paint on it. I'm not adding glitter paint, can you believe it? I am going to give that Posca paint pen one last round around the border, and you'll see how some simple lines and some colors can create a really eye-catching painted rock. Tell me in the comments what color combination you would use for this design. Don't forget to check out another video, and as always, thanks so much for stopping by to watch, and I will see you next time.